Separation centres in high security prisons. This is what I'm going to be talking about, people, because as you are well aware, the terrorist attack inside of HMP Franklin, which was yesterday on Saturday the 12th of April, where 3 prison officers were brutally attacked with hot oil and homemade weapons where they were stabbed up. The female prison officer involved has been released from hospital, and the other 2 officers are in a stable condition, but they have had life-changing injuries. Now, on the last video that I'd done, when I was telling you about what happened in the attack, a few people have said in the comments, and how people have been saying on articles online and different things, are saying, how come he's allowed hot oil inside a prison, and how come he's allowed to cook? So it won't have been hot oil, because hot oil was banned from in the prisons when Darren Barrett, a terrorist, was hot oiled, and another terrorist, Omar Khayyam, hot oiled Malakrutis from Gateshead. So from them attacks, there was no more oil in the high security estates, because there is kitchens on every wing in high security prisons where you can cook your own food, and you can buy litres of oil on the canteen list, and sometimes people will be buying 3 and 4 litres of oil, bubbling away in the kitchen, full heat. Then they were coming in, picking the pans up and tipping them over the other prisoners. Our prison officers have had this happen to them as well. I did hear of a horrific attack. Don't remember exactly which prison it was, but the inmate tipped the pan of hot oil over the prison officer, and the scars and the burns were that bad. I believe I did hear that he ended up taking his own life because of the injuries afterwards. He couldn't deal with it. And that inmate who done that was in the segregation unit in Franklin when I was in, and I was told about how dangerous he was and why he was down there, and he'd been in there for 10 years. So HMP Franklin, who done this attack on the 3 officers, will be in the segregation unit for the next decade at least. Now, the separation centres were designed in around about 2017 on HMP Franklin, Full Sutton and Woodhill are the only 3 high security prisons that have these type of centres, and it was designed for around about 28 prisoners, I believe it was, or 28 extremists. I'll not say prisoners, because they're not normal prisoners. Extremists and terrorists, the likes of Michael Adebolajo, the horrible cretin that murdered Lee Rigby. These are the type of inmates that are in there. So if these type of prisoners are on the normal location or general population inside the high security prison, and the screws get information or they believe that they're trying to radicalise the other inmates, they will be separated and put on these centres. Now, for me, they should be put down the block. These terrorists who have killed innocent people on the streets, like the HMP Franklin, who was involved with the murder of 22 people in the Manchester Arena bombing, the likes of him shouldn't just be wandering around wings. They should be down the segregation unit, kept away from everybody else with no human contact, like Robert Maudsley is. Then you will be not fearing any more attacks. But what do they do? House them all together on a little wing. So inside a Frankland prison, where he was on the separation centre, they've even changed the names, I believe, because they used to be called the extremist wings or the radicalised wings. I believe the one in Frankland, when it first opened up, it was, or everyone knew it as, the extremist unit. A unit for extremist prisoners. So these type of prisoners are all congregating together. They're putting them all together on a little unit, 78 prisoners who are extremists and terrorists. Now, how stupid is that? I was trying to think of a different word, but how daft and stupid. I'll just say it bluntly and say it as it is. Daft and stupid. Putting these type of prisoners together. 6 terrorists and 6 extremists coming up with plans, sitting, cooking and eating meals together, coming up with plans for the future, and the screws are just sitting there watching them, making sure they don't do anything wrong. How fucking pathetic is that? Would the house 6 armed, or for instance, if you had 6 prolific armed robbers, I'm not just talking about the ones that run in to a garage because they're addicts or whatever, I'm talking about professionals. If you put 6 professional armed robbers together on a unit, what are they going to talk about? They're going to hatch a plan to do a robbery when they are released to get the biggest amount of cash reward possible, because that's what they do. The professionals, the prolific armed robbers, and they're good at what they do, and they're learning from each other of how to not get caught the next time. So you've got 6 or whatever, how many extremists all together plotting about what they're going to do. He's obviously plotted this. Obviously the rest of them would have known what he was going to do, because people like that talk amongst each other. So I wouldn't be surprised if more of these terrorists will be doing more attacks inside the prison system. Because I did see someone saying this isn't just an assault on prison officers, it's a terrorist attack behind bars. But they're not labelling it as such in the press. They're just saying a terrorist has attacked prison officers. It is a terrorist attack on the establishment. He's done it previously, and he's been able to do it again. These separation centres should be shut down, and these type of prisoners, and the majority of you watching this, doesn't matter what you think of screws or anything like that. What do you think about a terrorist who is going to attack your family on the streets, your wife, your kids, your innocent kids at a concert? What do you think about that? And then they're letting these all congregate together on a wing. I believe they should be put down the block like Robert Maudsley and treated as such, so they can't concoct plans together for the future, or they can't attack not even just the innocent screws. What about the innocent prisoners? Ones that are sitting there doing the time, minding their own business, and they're getting attacked of these extremists just because they haven't got the same ideology. Now that is my breakdown on that, and that's what I think about that. But getting back to the beginning bit where I was on about the oil, when it was outlawed in the prisons banned, what they were doing, obviously you get tubs of butter inside a jail. I do believe they were limiting the size of the tubs of butter, but obviously if you get a few of them, chuck them in the pan, put a few in the bits and bobs in, baby oil, you can still get baby oil in jail, Vaseline, you know why they like the Vaseline as well, but they do get them type of ingredients inside a prison, so they're all concocted, chucked in a pan together, and they're using these substances to chuck over the prisoners or the staff. So that is what's happening, and that's what they've probably used. They wouldn't have used oil, because like I've said, it's been banned in the prisons, but they're using butter, which is called ghee, when it's melted up, and then they're chucking all these other concoctions in to inflict the more serious harm and damage on whoever they're going to chuck it on. But what's your thoughts, people? Do you believe that terrorists that are a threat to our nation and our prisoners and the staff, should they be allowed on general population, the ones that have killed innocent women and kids on the streets, blowing them up, or beheading soldiers who are just going about the business? What do you think about that? Do you believe they should be kept in a separation centre together, or should they be down the block and treated as such, kept away from everybody else? But I just thought I would come on and break that down, because obviously people have been asking. I did have a flick through some of the comments. I couldn't reply to them all because, as you can see, there's thousands and I can't reply to every comment the way I used to because the channel is getting bigger. But I do look through the comments, have a flick, so I do appreciate it, everybody. Like I say, I can't reply to each and every one of you, but you were asking a few questions about this, so I did break it down for you about the separation centres. And I have done a video a couple of weeks back when I've spoke about prisoners who have got problems with these type of inmates as well. Some of the extremists inside of prison. And they put the non-Muslims actually are put down the block for their own safety. The screws won't put them on the wing, but yet they put these type of prisoners on the wing. Maybe the separation centres should be kept for the other type of prisoners who they're putting in the block for their own safety when it's none of their fault that they're going to be attacked. So they put them in the block and they're sitting in there for years on end, but these are allowed to congregate together in separation centres. Why don't take all these lads out the block who are suffering because of what might happen to them, get them out the block and put them in the separation centres, then that will be putting it to good use. So there we go, people. Broke that one down for you. Let us know what you think. Hopefully you are enjoying the content, and if you are, remember to comment, like and subscribe. Take care, everyone.